Okay, so here we are in After Effects, and first thing that happened when I launched this project from this student was this error message came up. And this actually happened with a couple of the projects that got turned in. And I just want to say one last time, because it's super important, that when you move After Effects projects, like if you email it to somebody or upload it to Dropbox or somebody else to open or something, and you want all the footage to go with the project, so this doesn't happen, you need to collect the project, which I definitely made a bonus lecture about, so go ahead and check that out again. In this actual case, so if I hit OK here, what actually happened here, for whatever reason, is that the layers got renamed, possibly the way we gave them to you or whatever, in this sort of like _Mac. I'm not quite sure why this happened this way, but I don't actually have a file named this _Mac for all these layers, so I would have to reconnect these all one by one for all 300 layers basically. And that is just going to be way too time intensive for this animation oatmeal, and really for anybody that would ever take your project. So I think, in this case, we probably gave you the file this way _Mac, and it's probably a mix-up on our end. But this is just like a really good word of warning for people that really, when you pass off projects, at this point, you need to collect them. You need to always make sure that they have the fonts and whatever effects that you might have used that are like third-party plugins that you might have purchased or whatever also need to go with the project, or you need to make sure that the person who's going to open it up has that, otherwise the project won't really work right. Okay, so this is example one. It's a little bit of a cautionary tale. I'm sure the student did an awesome job on their animation. It's just when moving the project, I can't really open this up and look at it, so I wanted to give you guys that as a heads up. Okay, so student number 2 did a great job here. I wanted to look at this opening shot that they animated and see if we could kind of like make this a little bit more dynamic. So let me play this down for you.
Sneezes can travel. Sneezes.
So there we go. Let's jump in and look at a couple of things here. Alright, so I'm going to jump in here and... Okay, so the main thing that I thought right away is that when this animates, I think what the student is actually really going for here, I think, with the eyes, especially I could tell it with the eyes, and this is kind of the way I talked about it when I talked about the project a little bit, is that on the opening sneeze, a lot of these elements would kind of like fly off screen, and only really the nose would move up and make the wipe. So it seems like they kind of started that here, and they put in like a really good idea right at the start, which is like this contracting of the elements as it's about to sneeze, like it sort of pulls everything in. And then what I want to do is right now is like animate so that all these parts go flying off instead of just the eyes. And also, there's obviously like some sort of null object here. Yeah, I guess it's this move up. Yeah, good name on the null that I think starts early or something, but like or at least these elements should have moved off screen so that we're not feeling them being pulled up by that null. At least this is the way my eye reads this. So that's kind of what I'm going to work on real quick. So okay. First things first, let me figure out everything that's, so I've got my red eye and all this stuff. Okay, so let me hit U. Okay, cool. And so there's a little bit of an overlap here. Okay, so great. So the first thing, I'm just going to work this anticipatory like suck-in moment like even more. I think this could be exaggerated a lot. So let's see, I've got my green eye crown. And this, I think, goes well with this like shape. I think those should move as one. So I'm going to move those together. So what I'm going to do is move these. Okay, so you can kind of tell here by the motion path that when it moves down here, this little suck-in movement, that it's not quite moving along the same diagonal angle as it's going to move off, which I think could make it just a little bit nicer or more like at least OCD friendly for me. So what I would do is I would take this and move it down so that it goes in further, and so this angle remains consistent throughout, okay? So that when these move up and down, they're moving along the same angle, okay? And then let's see, up here, let's see them, yeah, see they don't go off screen, which I think would be more fun if these actually go like a bunch off screen. So they're moving quite fast. And again, I'm going to just sort of move them so that the paths line up together, so it's all going at the same angle. Cool. So that's that. And let's see now. So now this layer this is the eye. Okay, so same thing. Let's have it suck in, and the eye's going to look really comical, I bet you, if we have it suck in a bunch. Yeah. So I might be exaggerating this too much, but I think that's kind of funny. And again, I lined up the angle, and when it moves off, I guess that eye moves off, but it's sort of like moves here, and then it's being pulled off. So I think I'm going to actually exaggerate this even more and move this further, keeping it along that same line, that same diagonal. Okay. And you just want to make sure that all the things, like that the eye and the eye parts, are moving separately, which is good. Okay. So now let me look at this. This is my blue ball. Okay. Perfect. Good name for that. And okay, so let's do the suck in on the blue ball. And let's have it really exaggerate here. Maybe not that much, but that much maybe. And then as it moves off, let's even still move this further off, just so we can get a bunch of variety in the way this looks. Okay. Cool. And let's now look at the left eye shape. The left eye. Okay, great. So just going to basically do this for everything. I'm going to pull this in more this way a little bit. That looks really funny. And then here, same deal. Yeah, I'm going to get him. It's an eye. It completely off screen here, keeping the angles lined up. And now I'll do the same thing with what I assume is the left eye shape. Yep. Okay, this is getting a little bit tedious for you guys to watch, I'm sure, but oh, this is going to be good. So this one, yeah, it can just move in a little bit to have just some contrast with the regular, with its eye, and then move all the way off, again, preserving that angle as best as possible, and just making sure that the eye and the eye shape are moving at separate rates. So that looks like I can even move that farther to exaggerate that more. Okay. So cool. I think that's working now, and we'll work the interpolation in a sec. Oh, and we've got this shape and this shape. Okay, so this is the blue shape. So this kind of just pulls in straight. So I'll just pull that in and exaggerate it more here, and then I'm going to push it out all the way off screen there. Okay, and I'm going to do the same for the red. Pull it in, holding down Shift to move it straight. And then the same here, pull out Shift there. Holding down Shift to pull it out straight. Okay, in case that wasn't clear. And then here we've got the mouth, which looks like it's doing a scale thing. I don't know if I want to touch that, but these are linear keyframes, so I'm going to go ahead and just like put some ease on there. And then I'm going to want the mouth to move down as well. So why don't I take all these and I don't know, move that like here. Take these, I'm not quite sure what they're doing, but do this, and then have that mouth move down and off screen, I guess. And maybe that should delay, actually, because I think the mouth is doing the like sneezing kind of actions, so maybe that should be delayed there like that. I don't know, maybe even longer. I don't know. Now, let's look at the interpolation before we view that. And, oh, and also there's this null. Okay, so that stuff's moving off. Let me see. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to take all this stuff that's parented to the null, except for the nose, basically, and I'm just going to unparent that now that I've created more of a separate animation for those to move off screen. Okay, so that, and I see now they don't move, not everything moves off screen. Okay, so now I got to adjust this. Boring, sorry, I should have done that first. Okay, good thing to see me do. So let's take these two, just quickly do that, and keep the angles. Good there. Apologies for doing this twice, but it's the animator's lot. Okay, so move that there. Make sure that they are moving a little bit separately. Yes, and I think these could even possibly move more. Just to have a little bit more fun with it. And so now let's look at this stuff. This is the blue ball. That appears good. This is the left eye, which looks like it needs to move a lot farther off screen. And this is the left eye shape also, and I think I moved that quite a bit more, so let's just make sure that those are moving independently. Excellent. Okay, great. So that looks good, and now what I'm going to do is move these all kind of to start and stop at the same place for now, and we can adjust those later, but to do the interpolation of this, of all these, I think that's good, and I'm not going to work the mouth at the same time. And okay, so I'll definitely take all these. I'm going to press F9 and just reset that because this looked a bit chaotic here. So, alright, what we want this to do is to suck in and basically pause here. This is like an anticipation moment. So I think what I want is a really big pause here, okay? And I'm doing this in the speed graph, alright? And we can give this a little bit of a pause at the start too, or just a slow in. And then the out here, let's see, I'm not sure. We want that to move with some snap, that's for sure. We don't want it to like slow down considerably, but that looks like that's an awesome frame right there. Let's go back to the main comp and just view this and see what that feels like, okay?
Sneezes can travel. Sneezes can travel. Sneezes can travel. Sneezes can travel. Sneezes can travel.
Yeah, I think that looks really fun. What I would probably do now is get in here, and I think it does look a little too uniform, like everything's moving at the exact same time. So what we could do is now do more like what the student had actually done, which is kind of like just say take these and knock these back a few, and maybe these a little bit that way, so that it's like not everything is totally moving at the same time. And we could even do that, like have the like blue shape here go like one frame faster and this one go like a little bit slower. And then let's also look at the interpolation of the mouth and really basically yeah, okay, I'll do the position and the scale. I think so for the start here, I think we could just pretty much just have it like kind of have a slower start and kind of move quickly through the middle. But for this move off here now, I think we want to delay this so it's sort of like part of the anticipation there. I think that's what we want. Yeah, and of course now the null action looks a little bit strange. So let's look at the move up null, all right? And I think this probably needs to happen a little bit quicker. Now, one of the things I talked about before is I think that this nose should just go off screen. I'm not going to do this whole animation now because I'm not quite sure how the student built everything and I don't want to take too much time, but I think the nose should definitely go up and off screen and pull this mucus on fully, which I'm not really going to do here, but I think at the very least this should happen faster, and I think this should probably wait a little bit before it moves up, but I don't know. Let's see. And then let's look at the interpolation on that. Okay, so it's very sudden at the start. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so let's see what that looks like in the main comp.
Sneezes can travel. Sneezes can travel. Sneezes can travel. Sneezes can travel. Sneeze.
Yeah, I think that looks great. I mean, the only other thing that I would do, and I don't want to make this too long here, is I still think there could be more timing randomness in these objects flying out. Like maybe the eyes can go a little bit slower. See what that looks like, you know, just add some randomness to this.
Sneezes can travel. Sneezes can travel. Sneezes can travel. Sneezes.
Yeah, awesome. In any case, I think you could see how I'm sure the student went really quickly and did everything as much as possible, but a little bit more attention to some of these details and just some of the ideas of animation, just like anticipation and then reaction, could make some of these moments a little bit more dynamic, all right? But this student did an awesome job, and let's move on. Okay, the third student project that I want to talk about is also another one where the student did a great job, and I just wanted to point out that like I was mentioning earlier, when I opened this project, I got this warning that says this project contains a reference to a missing effect, right? Like I said, if you have, you know, a plugin that you bought and I don't have it and I go to open your project, it's not going to work that way. So in this case, I don't have this ripples effect. So that's definitely something to keep in mind when passing off projects. All right, so I'm just going to hit OK. And this project also contains an expression error. Not sure why that's happening there either, but I don't think I really need to talk about that, but it's just something to think about. Okay, cool. So what I did want to talk about was this one transition here. I mean, this student did a great job. This project looks a little heavy, so I'm going to Shift Command J and make it half, right? And let's see, I could look at it at 100%, doesn't matter. I wanted to talk about this transition here because I thought it was good, but it was sort of basic, and I thought it could definitely be improved. So let's look at this.
And nothing is, 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 and nothing.
Okay, cool. So it's basically just like a wipe down. The background, so it's essentially just sort of like a little bit of a PowerPoint presentation, and I think it could be way more dynamic. Right now you just basically have one, it looks like you have one layer here and another whole layer just kind of comes down in front of it and lands. And you know, that's very basic. So I think what I want to do is get in here and add in some anticipation and some kind of sympathetic movement for these layers here that contribute to the transition and reinforce the screen direction and make it all just feel like one move as opposed to just this like really blocky two-part transition. Okay, so let me open up this here. Okay, and yeah, okay. Here's the, I just figured out what the expression error is. It's on this number here. It looks like what it says here is, here's the expression error that it gives you. So if I click on this, it says, error in line 1 and property source text. Okay, so effect name slider control is missing or does not exist. It may have been renamed, moved, deleted, or the name might have been mistyped. All right, so it looks like they put a slider, like an effect control slider, on this layer to do this animation, and then somehow that got deleted. I'm not sure how, but that's the error that we're getting. Okay, and right, I'm not going to deal with that. But let's talk about this anticipation for this move down, okay? So I lost my train of thought a little bit here. What I want to do is get, so here's the move down. It ends here, okay? So if I double click this, now I can kind of make a marker here that I know my transition ends there. So let me go like 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 15 frames, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some position animation for the 100 and for the germs, right? And this would actually be easier if I separated the dimensions of both of these so that I have X and Y position, and then I will delete the X position keyframe there and make a Y position keyframe here, okay? And that's because I'm just going to move them up and down, so I don't really need the X to animate. So I'm going to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I will take both of these layers and I'm going to move these up, and I'm going to move the, I'm going to deselect that and move the 100 up even more, okay, so that when they move up they just move at slightly different rates, and the 100, which is bigger, is moving more because it's sort of more what our eye is going to look at. And now I'm going to go down here to the end, to my, you know, the last frame that this is going to be visible on. And I'll take both of these layers and now I will pull them down, and again I'm going to have them move at different rates by having the 100,000 move more, okay? And you know, I don't know if I need those to move all the way off screen actually, now that I think about it, because something is coming and covering it up. So why don't I just have this move, for example, to like here or something? Might be more interesting, and then they could move definitely at different rates again. Alright, so let me get in here and do some interpolation changing by pressing F9 and quickly jumping into my graph. In this case, I just want to show the selected properties. I don't want my X to show, and I also don't need this expression editor on there. That sort of gets in my way. Okay, so remember here with an anticipation, you always want a really pretty big pause on this end, and a pretty good snap down here, and we don't need to worry about this too much. Just smooth this out a little bit here, just don't crank it too much. If you're going to crank anything, it's definitely this handle. Right, so okay, let's go back here and look at just that so far.
And nothing is, and nothing is, and nothing is, and nothing is, and nothing.
Right, so right away you can see that it's sort of like starting something here. Ideally all these like germs and stuff would also kind of move sympathetically, but I don't know if I have time to do that. Okay, so now let's jump into the other side, the other pre-comp here. Okay, and what we have here are, I guess it's this noise and texture layer. Yep. And I want to say that, you know, at this point in your animation career, I don't want to see a lot of linear keyframes coming from you guys. I definitely think you should start thinking about interpolation a bunch. Okay, so let's put some handles on that by pressing F9 and take these into the graph and yeah, turn that expression editor off. Okay, and yeah, okay, let's just work with these in the speed graph because I didn't separate out the dimensions. And what we want here is just, you know, more of pause at the beginning, doesn't have to be cranked at the beginning, and then pretty good slowdown here at the end, right? Just so it's got some snap to it. And we could also, if we wanted, we could, let's see, we could separate these out. They're already a little separated. So for example, I could have the green be a little bit more delayed or something like that, right? Is that what I want? I guess the green, let's see, that's that, that's this. Okay, so I'm not even animating the green. The green is the background. Does that animate? No. Okay, so no, there's no animation there. Or that's parented to a null that's moving. Is that what's happening? Sorry, I'm talking to myself here. Okay, yeah, so that's also, I see. Okay, so let's add some handles onto that too, and just go ahead and do the same tweaks. I think it was about 55% this way, and more like 70% this way or something. Okay, and now what I want to do is, so that should be good there, right? I see, that's kind of overtaking those. So this could even potentially be slower, so that these have a little bit more time to kind of like land. Cool. And, whoa, I do not know why the student has a TIFF sequence here for their tanks and planes, but I'm not going to look at that. All I wanted to talk about now is how I can take the face layers, which I guess are in this pre-comp here, and also stagger those on screen so that those are moving down independently as well at the same time, okay? So let me jump into my pre-comp here. And let's see, I've got nostril hair, nose, nostril hair and nose shadow. I'm just going to go ahead and parent to my nose and lock because those will move with it, okay? And then everything else looks like I can press P, and then I am going to separate these out. I think this is a better way to go when doing position animation only in one direction. So I'm going to click on those and separate out the dimensions and then make exposition keyframes for all of them. And I wish there was an easier way to do this. Thank you very much, After Effects. Okay, great. So I can select those all and press U now. And so this is the frame where they're landing. So let me go back here. And now, so the nose, for example, I do not want this to move too much, just a little bit, right? Just kind of be pulling in. And it's got those other layers attached. But some other things like the right eye, this can definitely move up a bit more. I think the right eye shape and the blue crown, which I think should move together, that could definitely move more. Okay, and then the blue dot also, this is kind of toward the top of the frame, so I'll definitely have that move in from off screen too. And let's see, this red shape is this. Okay, so this I just need to move up a little, and same with my blue shape, even less. And then the left eye shape, a little bit, and then the left eye somehow I forgot about, and I'll have that move just a little as well. Okay, it doesn't need to be a tremendous amount of movement. I just want it all to feel a little bit different from one another. I'm going to press F9, and also, now that I think about it, I can have these, like the nose can take a little bit more time coming in, I think. Hopefully that won't mess up the sneeze or anything, but it's nice to have a couple things that are still like settling down. And actually, let me do the interpolation first before I move that. So what I want here is, you know, a little bit of snap at the beginning, just like everything else, but definitely like a nice, because this is the end move, so I want these to kind of like really smoothly come in. Now I can go back here and like stagger my nose and have a couple of things like the left. So the left eye, I could have a few frames shorter, and the right eye maybe as well. I don't know, I just want a little bit of variety in these so they don't feel like they're all stopping at the same time. So like the blue dot, that can go one this way, the red shape that way, and the left eye shape could even come in a little faster. Maybe like that. I don't know, just making it up as I go. Let's go back here and look at the transition now.
And nothing is, 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 and nothing is.
Okay, that didn't seem as dramatic as I thought. So let's see, maybe I had the face just take too much time. Looks like, yeah, I think my facial animation was just too long. So let me pull this all in randomly, and let's go back here and just kind of eyeball that. Is that better? It seems like they're almost, I guess because it's parented. Ah, okay, right. It's parented. That's why. I don't want it to be parented, so let me turn that off now. And yeah, let's see how that feels. I might need the green to, well, let's just see.
And nothing is, and nothing is.
Okay, so basically I just need to have everything start off screen now if it's not going to be parented. So let me redo some of this. Okay, and let me go back to my face and redo some of this. Okay, so this needs to, pretty much everything just needs to be going off screen here. More than I did because it looked too abrupt. And let's see, just take everything off, and I'm going to do this really quickly now. And that is the blue dot that was already off screen. Okay, I should pay more attention. Blue crown's off already. Red shape, yep. And now the blue shape. Maybe there, maybe it doesn't need to come. Definitely the nose, I guess, was fairly obvious. And maybe this left eye shape as well. I don't know why I have this one layer still there, so see what happens if I move that up as well. And I wonder if I want the interpolation to be different now and have them kind of like all faster right at the start. So let me pull these all back a little bit here. Maybe not that much. Okay, and let's look at that.
And nothing is, and nothing is, and nothing, and nothing is, and nothing is, and nothing is, and
I messed something up here with the face. Not everything comes down into position. Ugh, what happened here? So I definitely did something wrong, so I'm going to undo all that again. And do the move back. Okay, so I did this move back, everything landed. So I must have just had, I'm sure what I did is like a very common error. I selected like both of my keyframes and moved everything down at the same time in my haste to do this. So let me do this again and be more careful. Horrible teacher error there, right? What happened, in case you missed that, was like everything came on and it didn't land in the right place, so I definitely messed something up. So I will do this a little bit more carefully here. Okay. And nothing like a little bit of teacher error to get things going in the right direction. And this is my blue shape here, and this is my left eye shape. Let's see if that is now working. Yes, okay, thank you. I'll go back to my transition here and check it out.
Nothing is, and nothing is, and nothing is, and nothing is.
Ugh, I think I forgot to take the parenting off. I undid, yep. Oh man, great gravy. All right, so I undid so many times that I forgot to take the parenting off I undid the taking the parenting off the face. So now it's all like in lockstep again. So let's see, is that right?
And nothing is, and nothing is, and nothing is, and nothing is, and nothing.
I think what I need to do is stagger these out a lot more so that these layers are definitely coming in. Now they're all coming in just like too fast. So yeah, they need to just stagger in more. And let's see, maybe I just made this all too fast as well. Oh, it's like watching the sausages being made.
And nothing is, and nothing.
Maybe that's better.
Nothing is, and nothing is, and nothing is, and nothing is protect, and nothing is.
Alright, I'm going to stop it there. This was a cavalcade of nonsense for me, but I think you get the idea, and it definitely looks more better. He's got this anticipation, and then things start to move down all together, and you have more elements that are all moving independently, which is, generally speaking, one of the real secrets of motion graphics. Is the more independently everything can move while still feeling like it's of a set, just makes things feel more dynamic and more special. Okay? Thanks so much for watching this, and great job, everybody, and I'm really psyched with all the work that I've seen here. So thanks again.